You know, that would be performance art. If you just sat in front of the camera and you just talked with no preparation, no outline, no writing. You just said what was on your mind for like 35 minutes. Wouldn't that be something? No, I don't like that, McMahon. I don't want to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't be in the video. I injured my head. Injured it. So here's what happened. What's today? Friday? Wednesday. This is, by the way, this is a Seiko SLA-023. You're going to see this instead of my head today. So Wednesday, my daughter, it was 4 o'clock. She was getting a piano lesson with Paul. And I was in my room. And I had just put in a new smoke detector. Brand new. You know, it was about a week old. And it went off. And Paul and my daughter Julia in the middle of the lesson, man, they were not happy. So I was in a rush. And I ran into the kitchen, got the step ladder, ran into the hallway to pull down the first alarm thing. And I don't know what happened, man. I hit my head on the ceiling, I think. Blood coming out of me. And I think it looked worse than it really was. But my wife's going, "Are you sure you hit your head on the ceiling? Are you sure it wasn't some kind of steel protuberance? Did you put hydrogen peroxide?" And I got the 3rd degree on. I mean, I almost feel like all these questions about how I was supposed to do the first aid treatment was worse than the actual hit. But it looks like a big gash. And I said to my students yesterday, I had to teach with this giant gash in my bald head. I said, "So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does this look?" And they go, 8. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Looks like an 8. I'm not going to make a video with a gash in my head. I said to my students, I look like a rugby player. Next thing you know, it'll be toothless. Like I just got back from a rugby accident. So, all right. I apologize. But the good news is you get to see the Seiko SLA-023 on the OEM soft strap. Now, I have a waffle, and the waffle's rigid. And because it's rigid, it doesn't conform to the wrist, so you're getting some flop. You're not getting flop with the OEM soft strap. The other strap that I've had good experience with is the Dive Core. But it's on the OEM soft strap right now. One of my 3-dimensional watches. I have 2 3-dimensional watches in my 7-watch collection. What that means is you stare into the dial, it looks like you're descending into the Grand Canyon. Are you descending into the Grand Canyon, McMahon? Did you bring enough bottled water with you? Do you see any scorpions on the way? All right, so for today's presentation, this is called "I'm Not Going to Blame Social Media for My Watch Problem." And so I've been making YouTube videos mostly about watches since 2015. So we're almost at 10 years. And as I look back over these videos, I do see a through line. It's me trying to manage my appetites. Really, that's what the through line has been. For those of you who don't know me, I have a watch problem. And what does that mean? What do you mean you got a watch problem? It means I have an amazing collection of 7 watches. And I love them all. They're all amazing. But this is my problem. I always want more. I just do. I'm just hardwired that way. I always want another watch. It's disgusting because every time I get a watch, that's less wrist time for this masterpiece right here. And that upsets me. I resent it. And so by this problem, I wonder, I'm just going to do a thought experiment. I wonder if let me wonder this. Come on. I wonder if I have a watch demon inside of me. I do. I just wonder. And I wonder if feeding the appetites of the watch demon is in conflict with my self-interests. In other words, I wonder if feeding the watch demon is an impediment to my happiness and peace of mind. Think about that. That means you have like this divided soul. You have the watch demon inside of you, and then you have your adult self, and they have conflicting goals and outcomes. I don't like that. Now, some of you will say, McMahon, Get a grip, dude. Of course you have a watch demon. You're on social media. You're on YouTube. You're a YouTuber. Social media is a playground of inflated, hyped up desires. And there you are looking at all this watch eye candy on social media. And at the same time, you're a YouTuber. You have a channel. And when you're a YouTuber, you're constantly wanting attention and wanting the algorithms to encourage people to click on your channel, and then that's going to encourage you to buy new watches as a way of getting attention. So you see, McMahon, you chose to put yourself in an environment that feeds the watch demon. You just need to go off the grid, bro, and everything will be okay. There'll be no more watch demon. And part of me says, well, that's persuasive, I guess, but I gotta tell you guys something, man. I'm not buying it. No, I'm not buying it. Here's what I'm gonna tell you about me. As you stare at this gorgeous, rather large SLA-023. Here's what I want to tell you, man. I believe my crazy love for watches, it goes beyond social media. It transcends social media. I need a beverage, bro. All right. It's beautiful. So, I hate it when that happens. Right in the middle of the video. Are you kidding me? Couldn't happen to a better guy, McMahon. Work on the gash in your head, and then maybe that will go away. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to blame social media. I believe that even if I wasn't on social media, I would still crave new watches. My watch demon, and listen to this carefully now that I've cleared my throat. My watch demon lives independently of social media. It doesn't need social media. It doesn't care about social media. It goes deeper than that. I mean, if my watch demon or my watch desires were dependent on social media, that would be superficial. Then all I would have to do is environmentally re-engineer my life, and that would be great. That's pathetic, man. That's a lightweight analysis. My desires go way beyond whether or not I'm on social media. I'm not going to blame social media for this. I'm not going to blame social media at all. Let me tell you guys something, man. When it comes to your desires and your temptations and your demons, thousands of years ago, long before social media, people were fighting with the same demons of desire we're fighting with today. I'm guarantee it. That's the human condition. For me, this is the way I see social media. I tell my students this too. You're not going to get rid of social media. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Yeah, we are losing our minds in social media, but to me, that's part of the adaptation process. We're early in the game. Anytime you get a new technology like this, it's disruptive, it's chaos, and there is going to be a learning curve, and there's going to be craziness, and that's where we are right now as a society. And so what I tell my students is, and I tell myself this, social media is grocery shopping. You got a lot of choices when you go to the supermarket. You can make the choices when you go shopping. No one forces you to go into the supermarket and buy Pringles, ice cream, and Hot Pockets. No one's forcing you. You can buy whole, unprocessed, nutritious foods, and you can learn to prepare them so that you can enjoy them. It's your choice. Now, here's the thing. 90% of the human race makes bad choices and always has. 90%. This, what I just said, is a variation of Sturgeon's Law. If you've never heard of Sturgeon's Law, it states that 90% of everything is crap. Clothes, books, magazines, watches, sports teams, dating apps, you name it. So here's the thing, man. A corollary of Sturgeon's Law would be that 90% of human behavior is crap, which is to say 90% of human behavior is inclined toward mindless, immediate gratification. as I look back at my channel over the last 9 years plus, and I look at a through line, I've been trying to be mindful about my watch obsession rather than treating my watch hobby with reckless disregard, as I just hand it over to my watch demon. Here, take it. Take my whole hobby that I've worked so hard for. I've studied, I've done research, I've done my due diligence, I found what I like, I found what I don't like. Oh, hello, watch team, I'll just hand it all over to you. And before I know it, I have 85 watches and I'm miserable. And you know, for me, having 85 watches would be the equivalent of me. I currently weigh 235. I'm down from 239 because I quit eating cereal. It would be the equivalent of me weighing 400 pounds. Having 80. There's an analogy there. There's an analog, if you will. And so, where am I today? Well, I'm still trying to lose 30 pounds. I quit eating cereal. I may have to make some other steps. But anyways, I'm at the point where I have a pretty manageable collection. I have 7 watches. I don't manage larger collections very well, so I can't commit on this channel to reviewing new watches on a regular basis. As I see, I may have to stop the video and just put this on and become Gollum for a second. Now, you know what? As far as not reviewing new watches all the time, for me that's fine, because I never saw my YouTube channel as a watch review channel for several reasons. I'll just give you a couple. There are too many of you YouTubers out there who do it much better than I do, so I'm not even going to compete with you. And that's really not my genuine passion. I've always been more interested in the psychology behind my watch obsession and my watch addiction. And honestly, I've always tried to look at that fine line between watch passion and watch addiction. It can get pretty blurry sometimes. And I've tried to look at that fine line with humor, and I've borrowed techniques from comedians. I mean, I'm jealous. I wish I was as talented as comedians, but they're off the charts. But I mean, I use their techniques like hyperbole, and I'll go into my own craziness and exaggerate it to chronicle my watch hobby in the framework of my addiction. So in the broader sense, this channel's been about me managing my appetites, being an adult, and being responsible about my addictions. And to be truthful with you guys, I can never be a real adult. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am a man-child. I am. And so I'll never be a true adult. You know, when I make certain faces at the dinner table, like let's say there's some kind of food at the table and I got this big smile on my face, my daughters will just say, "Dad, you look like a big kid, man." And I can't help it. I mean, some of us are born bona fide man-child. That's me. My father was a man-child, and people always said, "Dude, you look like your father." Yeah, man, the mold has been set. I am a man-child. And that doesn't mean that I don't accept responsibility for my actions. It's just that I'm not going to reject my man-child. My man-child is my Jungian shadow. And I'm not going to push away my Jungian shadow. It's going to make my life worse. I will embrace my Jungian shadow. I will embrace my man-child. And just accept that, you know, I am an overgrown man. I'm just an overgrown kid in men's clothing. And there's not much I can do. So I'm a man-child. I got 7 watches. And the question next is, you know, what are you doing with your channel now, Mr. Man-child? So here's what I want to tell you about my my YouTube channel. I've always looked at this channel the way I look at writing essays. When I make a YouTube video, I'm trying to process the chaos of my life and give it a shape so that there's something instructive and meaningful about it. I think to make a YouTube video, for me, it's not really about attention. I don't need anyone's attention, but what I need to do is address the crazy. I got the crazy gene. And the only way to deal with the crazy is to, how can I put this? I need to launder it. I need to launder. You know how criminals, they launder their money? I have crazy in me, and I have to launder it so that the crazy doesn't get the best of me. And the only way I can launder it is to put it through the essay process machine inside of me. And I do it with these YouTube videos. I've been doing it for almost 10 years. So I'm essentially laundering my pathology for my own mental hygiene. And I mean, getting attention, that's not going to do it. I mean, I'm laundering my pathology. Maybe I should change the title of this YouTube channel to Laundering Your Pathology with Jeff McMahon. The 10 ways to achieve salubrious YouTube conduct in your life. Yeah, whatever, McMahon. Get back to your program, will you? What program? There's no program here. I'm in a state of chaos. So, one thing is I have to launder my pathology. The second thing is this. Listen carefully. My ideas in these videos can't be predetermined. I mean, I have an idea what I want to write about, of course. What are you, Foghorn Leghorn? But there has to be an element of surprise. My best YouTube video content and my best essays always took me to unexpected places. And that unexpected, that surprise, has always given me a thrill in the writing process. And that's what's kept me making these videos for almost 10 years. Now I need to make a confession at this point as I look at this. This is kind of going to be too thick for most of you guys. This is like almost 18 millimeters thick. So don't buy this watch if you want a manageable watch. It's manageable on me, but I have an 8-inch wrist. All right, back to the program. Now I need to make a confession to you guys. You guys aren't going to believe this, but I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I gotta make a confession to you. I've never said this before on my channel. Oh, McMahon's making a confession. Isn't that sweet? All right, here we go. Whenever I finish making a video, there's a voice in my head. And it says this. It says, dude, that was your last video. And then I say back to that voice, I go, why are you telling me that, man? What do you mean? And the voice says this, because you just said everything you have to say. That's it, dude. You're done. Go home. Drink beer, eat apple pie, and watch Gilligan's Island. It's over, bro. And I have to be honest with you. I kind of believe that. Every time I make a video, I got nothing else to say. I just said what I have to say about the human condition, about my watch obsession, about life. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys is that when I make these videos, I'm in a fight against that voice. And what voice is that? I don't know. It's the voice of despair, the voice of nihilism, or you can call it nihilism. Did you know the writer Stephen Pressfield, in the book called The War of Art, which Joe Rogan recommended on his podcast? I heard him recommend it about 6 years ago. So I bought it. And Stephen Pressfield actually has a name for that voice that tells you just to give up. It says, you're done. And that Stephen Pressfield calls that voice the resistance. So later on, I watched a couple years ago or a year ago, I watched a Netflix documentary called Stutz about the therapist Phil Stutz as he's treating Jonah Hill with his various neuroses. And so I bought some books by Phil Stutz and I enjoyed them very much. And he has a word for that voice of despair also. He calls it Part X. Part X. And so I started thinking, we all have that voice. It's the voice that tells us to give up on life. Just to stay in bed, eat Hot Pockets, get fat. Why not? Life is short. You're going to die anyway. I think we all have that voice. Choosing life is harder. It requires constant struggle. You have to move forward in the face of your doubts. And so here's what I want to finish this off with. Remember I was talking about how when you're on social media, you're not really going to get rid of social media. It's here to stay, man. To me, I want you to look at social media the way you look at when you're going grocery shopping, as I said earlier. And so for me, when I'm on social media, when I'm on YouTube or podcasts, I want to associate with positive, disciplined people who will inspire and encourage me to help me overcome my own, you can call it the resistance or Part X or the voice of despair. And, I find inspiration where I can find it. Check this out. Yesterday I was having a talk with one of my best students. He's 19 years old, former defensive lineman star. He played at a weight of 275. He's down to 215. He's only 19, and he eats 2,200 calories a day. And I go, dude, that for a 19-year-old, you're only eating 2,200 calories a day? I mean, that's a lot of discipline. How do you do it? And he says, hey, man, look at this. When I was 275, I didn't feel good. I felt terrible. Waking up in the morning, it was hard to get out of bed. Now I feel good. It's my choice. I can eat my 2,200 calories, weigh 215. In fact, I want to get down to 205, he said. And I can feel good, or I can, be 275 and deal with sleep apnea and get a lousy night's sleep and maybe die in my sleep. And then and if I do live, I feel terrible when I wake up because I'm not sleeping well. So it's a choice. I get inspiration. Dude, you're awesome, dude. So I go on YouTube a lot, and there's a former power lifter named Mark Bell. The dude, come on, dude. He benched 900 pounds. I thought I was strong. I could rep 405, like 5 reps when I was 18. Dude, 900? Get out of my face, dude. And now, he's 47 years old, and he's lean, he's fit, he's muscle, and he keeps his protein up, and his carbs are well managed. He looks amazing. I like certain types of FOMO are good for you. When I see someone that fit and it gives me FOMO, maybe that's good FOMO. It inspires me to get my act together. And so when I go shopping in the grocery store of YouTube, I am following Mark Bell and Peter Attia and Chris Williamson and Mark Wildman and Thomas DeLauer and Mike Israetel, because they're encouraging me to live a life of dietary order and discipline and to fight the chaos of eating everything. That's fine, man. So when I'm on social media, I'm trying to hang out with strong and wise people to help me fight my inner demons. It's my choice who I hang out with. So I never blame social media for my problems, my watch demon. I actually think I benefit from social media if I make the right choices and go to the right places. And I choose what my social media diet is. I choose where I go. Now, I'm going to continue to make videos because I believe I do have a crazy gene inside me, a pathology that needs to be laundered through the process of the video essay. And I do believe that as long as I do that, and these essays, this content that I write for YouTube, as long as it takes me to unexpected places and gives me a surprise, and as long as it's instructive to you and to me, then I want to continue making it. Let me finish this by telling you guys, I don't make YouTube videos to become famous. I want to share something with you. I'm currently reading a book by Scott Galloway. I love Scott Galloway. I've been listening to his podcast for about 5 years now. He has a book out that I'm reading. It's the second book I've read by him. It's called The Algebra of Wealth. And there's just so much information, and it's ridiculous. But I want to tell you guys something about making YouTube videos. Scott Galloway observes that 3% of YouTubers get 85% of all the traffic. Think about that. Just 3% of YouTubers get 85% of all the traffic. You know what this means, ladies and gentlemen? It means I need to keep my day job. All right. So, by the way, this is blue. It's Grand Canyon, 3-dimensional. It's very wearable on the strap. You're not going to see my face for a while as I go through the healing process. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think, man. Can we work together to launder our watch pathology and help it to help lessen the craziness of it so it doesn't overtake us? All right, that's all I got, man. Tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm out.